In the past 12 months, more than half of businesses surveyed say they were the target of some kind of cybercrime. We've worked with many clients to improve security, helping them answer the fundamental questions that any organisation should be asking about their security. That is, how controlled is their network? And how do you decide where to spend resources to best effect? Most businesses have the basics covered. They use a firewall to protect their perimeter and to segment their network. They will also have antivirus systems to protect against desktop and other threats. They even use agents to enforce endpoint or mobile device policies. The problem is, even having these in place, many businesses admit that they cannot be sure that no one is getting past. Enter access control systems. If you think about the vast number of mobile devices around, it's likely that anyone who comes into your business will have an iPhone, an iPad, or a laptop. These devices are designed to connect to any network they see. Access control systems can be the first line of defense in controlling who connects to your network. They can prevent non-trusted, non-secure devices from accessing key parts of your network. So why doesn't everyone have an access control system? Access control systems have been available for many years. While they provide protection, they can be difficult and expensive to implement. In addition, many systems don't cover the whole of the network. So for example, servers, printers, even new generation devices like IP-enabled vending machines are not covered. And if these are compromised, you may well have a problem. And there's worse. Apart from not controlling all your devices, you may need to upgrade your entire network to make traditional network access control systems work. So it's no surprise that with this expense and the fact that there's still security gaps, NAC systems aren't being used by everyone. Now there's a new way of doing access control. Access control systems need 4 simple elements to work effectively. This means that network access control without headaches and cost of traditional systems can be achieved. The first element of access control is coverage. Coverage is simply ensuring that you can see all of your network and the devices connecting to it. Without effective coverage, you cannot implement a system of controls that span your entire network. Coverage should not be a matter of where the device connects, it must be seen and controlled wherever it connects. Best practice dictates that coverage, or the discovery and detection of devices, should not rely upon installing software on these devices. Some access control systems demand that you implement a pre-authentication system as part of the connection process. We think that you can do access control without pre-authentication. It should be a choice, not a mandate. Coverage should be entirely passive. We've spent the last 30 years understanding the fundamentals of IT networking. We can assure you there's plenty of information going around the network to figure out what is going on without having to scan end devices or deploy expensive hardware probes. Coverage will provide you a complete view of the network and every single device connected. The second element is risk assessment. Risk assessment is essentially about trust and authenticity. The aim is to ensure a connected device is assessed against a set of criteria in order to be trusted. Authenticity is the validation and cross-referencing of this information to confirm that your trusted device is what it claims to be. Just as a side note, PwC recently suggested that around 10% of an organisation is a joiner, mover or leaver. This simple truth means that change makes static or infrequent risk assessment out of date and effectively useless. Risk assessment may sound onerous, but it needn't be. We often see a common set of criteria that are a great start for any organisation. For example, if you see a laptop connecting, it should be an Active Directory. Or if an asset database, then a device should be registered to it. One hugely important part of access control and risk is that a device connected to the network should only be doing certain things. Let me expand on this. Take a printer, for example. Printers should print, scan, or maybe fax. Printer shouldn't be accessing Facebook or an HR system or a financial system. Any control system that cannot tell you this change in behaviour is probably not worth deploying. The reason this is so critical is that most malicious acts are actually pretty pre-planned and committed during work hours. So it's likely that cybercriminals will use masquerading techniques to try to cover their tracks. They might pretend to be a printer, which is not covered by your access control system, and use this to gain easy access to your system. While it might be easy to hide behind the identity of a trusted device, it's really difficult to hide the traffic that it's generating, especially if it's unusual for that kind of device. The third element is remediation. If you find a threat through coverage and risk assessment, what action do you take? Well, this will vary based upon a typical organisation's hierarchy. So low priority events might just be logged and looked at for further analysis. Higher priority events, you could send an email to staff for action. And critical events can automatically be handled via the system either via removing from the network or moving to a safe part of the network to contain the threat. The fourth and final element is automation. There's no point deploying access control if it requires more people to run it and maintain it. Automation should be able to cope with change as well as the day-to-day operation of any system. What happens when you add a new user or a new device, or open a new office? Automation means not having to involve humans unless it's absolutely necessary. Automation should also drive the workflow so that teams can collaborate effectively, bringing your organization together. If you make sure that your access control deployment has these four elements, the likelihood is the project will become more successful in meeting its project and security goals. If you'd like to learn more about Rebasoft's access control solution that provides complete coverage, ensuring you get visibility and therefore control of your entire network, a system that allows you to use and build rules that automate risk assessment, automatically connecting to existing systems such as Active Directory and asset management systems, a system that automates the process as much as possible to not involve humans until absolutely necessary, please complete the form below to receive your copy of our white paper. Thanks for listening.